Welcome back. Well, I thought today, as our project video, I would go over with you in some detail how I choose the plates I choose for my tidbit trays, because you know how to really, as you can see, the photobomb kitty is here. Anyway, you know how to drill the plates, you know how to put them together, but I know some of you have had some difficulty in choosing the pieces you want to work with. So I thought we'd take a look at this. I will explain to you how it is I choose pieces, what I choose them for, what I'm looking for when I buy them, and once I've got them, how I combine them. And maybe this will help you make your own decisions about your tidbit trays. So we will get into this when we come back. Okay, I have a whole bunch of random plates here, and a few of them are already combined. In other words, I have them stacked up together because I know they are going to become little tidbit trays. So let me start with these pieces. This is a nice little Japan-made, sort of a boat-shaped peach lusterware, I don't know, trinket dish, who knows, a boat-shaped dish. This one is an exceptionally pretty saucer. Again, it has the peach lusterware and some nice sort of wispy flowers. And this, and this is also Japan-made, a bowl. Now, the bowl has orange flowers with a blue rim and some gilding on it. It's fairly shallow. And this tidbit tray is going to have the saucer next, and then up at the top, the boat-shaped plate. And so this is just going to be an interesting combination of shapes. They are all, yeah, right, as long as I don't break them. They are all going to be held together essentially by the fact that they are lusterware and they have these wispy little flowers. So that's great, as long as you can get pretty lusterware, right? This is a little European plate. The thing that's interesting about this, so you don't really need to see much of the design, is this scalloped edge. That is absolutely going in a tidbit tray because the edge is what I'm looking for in this one. Again, reticulated. And I grab reticulated plates, especially these small ones when I can get them, because these are going to make great top tiers on a tidbit tray. Something very interesting to look at, especially for a top tier of a tray that may not be holding very much because we're looking at a small plate anyway. Let me show you this one. This one is going to be a fairly large tray. This is a bowl, hand-painted by someone named Emily Day. Don't know who she is. She did a lovely job. We've got these great orange flowers. This can hold a lot. The next layer, again, I'm sticking with an orange theme here, is a Japan-made a Noritake style plate, but it's not actually Noritake. This is a later piece, lusterware, nice. That will be the second layer. The third is a Japan saucer, peach lusterware. So we've gone from orange to orange and blue to more orange and blue. And this is our final piece. This is going to be our topper. This is a little ashtray. And my vision for this is that this is going to hold art supplies. This is going to go to a friend of the channel. I've been collecting pieces for months for her TIdbit tray. She lives in Arizona, hence all the oranges, because orange just seems to be an Arizona color. And as I say, my vision for this is going to hold a paintbrush and a little bit of water. So this is a special purpose tray. That was also the reason I decided to go with a very large bowl at the bottom, because a bowl like this, when you start to think of this in terms of something other than food, holding art supplies, holding tubes or bottles of paint, you can see it has a huge amount of room. A lot of stuff is going to fit in there, and it, because of the way it's scalloped, it creates 6 little individual compartments along the edges. So that's one I am very pleased with. I finally got the last piece I needed, so that one is going to come together this week, get shipped out. I'm very happy about that, but I was especially happy about this, which was a fairly recent acquisition, the little ashtray, because it is so insanely perfect for holding a paintbrush and some water. This piece is going on a TIdbit tray. It's got an interesting shape. I have not decided what plates I'm going to combine it with yet. But the colors, pink, green, yellow, will make it fairly easy. I got this in a set of plates, 4 of them in this pattern, and then this oddball. So the oddball was set aside. The 4 that are identical are going to stay as a set. But that one, absolutely. This set is easy. I got a set of 5 of these plates at the Goodwill, and 4 of them have a matching pattern, but 1 of them is damaged. So I'm setting that one aside, and they are going to be a tray like this. Let me see if we can, there we go. A little sort of half moon tray. More than likely this will get used for jewelry and not food. The same thing with this, although this one is larger. But fortunately, I have an extra piece, which again is going to be combined in a TIdbit tray. Who knows, maybe something along these lines. I don't see any reason why I can't use 2 interesting different shapes. That sort of thing it just lends itself very naturally to the storage of things like jewelry. Now we're offloading some of this. Perhaps you will remember the Katani style plates. These were a gift from Jocelyn. She got me a nice little stack of these, and I made some TIdbit trays out of it. Very interesting, very pretty. I recently grabbed some geisha ware. They go together very nicely. Now keep in mind, this plate is sort of the original, and this one is rather the, the low-cost imitation of this, which is why they will work together well. I have a great many of these little geisha ware pieces. We've talked about that before. We should probably just do a quick digression about geisha ware. I get a lot of questions about this. It's very common. It's sort of, the poor man's katani. It came into the U.S. in the mid-century, just all over the place. Some of it is very well done, some of it is not. When I can find it well done, not necessarily very well done, just moderately well done, and at a good price, I will grab it up. And that's what happened with these pieces. I got them at Bedford Antiques a couple of weeks ago, got a lot of them, and they are going to become bits and pieces of TIdbit trays. They are eminently useful for this. Geisha ware, it's not expensive, or shouldn't be expensive anyway. It's not valuable. It is nice Japanese import pieces. It is very easily identified. It's called geisha ware because of the geishas. Now, some of this dates back, probably a good 100 years. This piece, I don't think so. Some of them do. They've been a feature of American households for a century. This is the sort of thing, that your grandmother served breakfast on. When it was purchased, at the time that it was purchased, it was cheap import china, but it was nice. So you could go out and get breakfast service, the sort of china you would serve your family's cereal in, very inexpensively. It would have been considered everyday china, but you could get something very nice for your everyday china at a reasonable price. Hence the popularity of this, and that's why you see it all over the place. When you look at it and you're looking to pick up a piece of geisha ware, remember one thing: did they color in the lines? And that's what you're judging on. How well they painted it. Did they paint and stay within the lines, or are those kimonos just large globs of paint that look like they might have been anything? It might have been, a small dog jumping on the geisha. That's the key. If it's a well executed paint job, grab it. If it's not, I'd leave it behind unless it were a super, super great bargain. But that's what's going to become of the geisha ware. It's going to be combined with more expensive, more valuable plates to create some TIdbit trays that are going to have the advantage of being very interesting. Something a little different. I've got a lovely cup here that could easily go on top. Sometimes they make it really easy for you when you're doing TIdbit trays, and this is one of those really easy times. These are chokin plates, Japanese second half 20th century. They are collector's plates, like that Bradford Exchange sort of thing. And as with virtually all of the plates of this kind, boy, I will say this till I am blue in the face, please do not get something designed to be a collectible plate, because you'll see the television commercial and they will say it's going to appreciate in value, and the last issue of this plate was worth $5,000. And no. Ordinarily, you are never even going to get your money back beyond the original sales price. So if you buy a plate like this and you paid $30 for it, it's probably worth $15 today. Just keep that in mind. The chokin plates were a little different because that gilding is 24 karat gold. It's a mirror finish, and the execution of these designs were just remarkable. So the great thing about these is you want a TIdbit tray, they combine automatically. And with these, I have another piece I'm putting on top, which is a little lusterware demitasse cup that has a completely gilded interior. So again, we've got the white and gold. That gold, by the way, is just blinding. It's really, really strong. It's a very, very good job on that little piece. And that's going to sit on top of the TIdbit tray, probably holding the toothpicks. TIdbit toppers. That's another thing I'm having a lot of fun with. Yes, in some cases you're going to want just, you know, your straight up little handle. A piece like this is one such piece. But you want to get into interesting things, the little art supply tray, this is going to be the topper. It's going to be our little ashtray. Well, paintbrush holder. And that's going to sit on the top. What do we have here? Eventually, this is going to become a Sumi TIdbit tray when I find the right pieces, because, you know, my motto, it's not hoarding if you keep it in a pretty box. So naturally, I had to turn this into a tray topper, a little stack of 3 pretty boxes, not hoarding. And when I find the right plates, we're going to go ahead with this. I have been pretty diligently collecting little bits and pieces of children's tea service. This is one that is already on the riser for the TIdbit tray. This is another one that will eventually go on. As you can see, it will hold toothpicks. It will be something interesting to look at, a little teapot on top of the tray. I think that makes a big difference when people can have something that is visually engaging, that that is other than the ordinary. So, and of course, I'm acquiring a pretty massive collection of children's tea services. Hopefully they'll all mix and match, because boy, I've got a lot of pieces. There's another piece I wanted to show you. I think this is just absolutely gorgeous. What are we looking at here? Yes, this is a Japan piece. Very, very pretty. It has the border of the old Nippon ware, and in many ways it really does look very similar to the Nippon ware. It's got a swan instead of a little house. I got this piece along with a matching cup and saucer. So what are we going to do with a sugar bowl and a cup and a saucer? That is like not only one of the tiniest fractions of a dinner service, but it's probably the least useful fraction of a dinner service. Well, this is going to become one of those 2-tiered, well, not TIdbit trays, as I said, creamer, sugar. That's what I would suggest using it for, although I have one of these in the bathroom holding cosmetics. And in combination with the sugar bowl, it's actually going to become a useful set of something, as opposed to a sugar bowl, a cup, and a saucer, which, as I say, is probably about the least useful section of a dinner service I can think of. But collectively, the 2 pieces together are going to be useful. They are going to be just little service pieces that don't necessarily have to match the china, because they're going to be holding the creamers, they're going to be holding the lemon, they're going to be holding the sugar, and they're going to be set aside as service pieces. So that's another thing you can do. Do your cups and saucers have to match? The quick, easy answer is no. I have this piece right here. We have this piece of geisha ware, and the women, one is wearing a green robe, the other is wearing a red robe. Here we have red and blue, so they're clearly not matching pieces, but they will look fine if you put them together. As you can see, you're really going to have to strain to see, which is one of the great things about geisha ware. I should probably just slide back to my comments on geisha ware. You can get this stuff from all over. You can get pieces from dozens of different sets, and even if they don't match, no one is ever going to know the difference. In that sense, it's a lot like rose medallion china. My actual dinner service is just pieced together from everything, and very few of the pieces actually match. They will complement each other instead. And I love that. I love the fact that, you know, if you look, there will be 6 different soup bowls with 6 different designs on it, and if you look closely enough, you'll see that. Excuse me. But when you take something like this, you can creatively mix and match. Now I have some other pieces here. Oh, I have this one I wanted to show you. I definitely have delusions of turning this into the base of a tidbit tray. I just need to find a couple of pieces that will complement the color, although not necessarily the shape. I would like this large curved piece to be the bottom, and maybe a nice little round dish on top. That would be a fun piece. And it's definitely in keeping with my notions of using different interesting pieces. I had been going through some of the reticulated pieces to see if I could find something that would go well with it. And so far, I'm not coming up with anything in my, you know, pre-existing cache of china for tidbit trays. But I believe I will turn something up that will go with this. Same with the rest. So basically, this in a nutshell is how I put my tidbit trays together. I get pieces that I specifically have in mind, you know, tidbit trays. Like I said, the reticulated pieces, I like the way they look, and pieces like this, interesting edges, and then we have pieces like this. If I can get them in sets, because I believe when you're working with pieces like this, it's better if they match all the way up. When I can get them in sets at a good price, as I was able to do with these, then fantastic, great tidbit tray in the making. Other than that, I look for a sympathy in color or finish. I would not combine a lusterware piece with a dull glazed pottery piece, for example. Or let me show you, because these actually do have a sort of matte finish. It's not really complementary. I don't think they work well together. So I would look for a similarity in finish. You know, a high glazed finish piece with another high glazed finish piece, a low glazed finish piece with another low glazed finish piece, colors in the same color family, or picking up on the different colors available. For example, the piece that I showed you with the orange flowers, playing off another piece that's blue and orange, and again another piece that's blue and orange right into the final piece, which is very orange. You can have a great deal of fun with this. You don't need to be an artist to put colors together. I do a pretty good job of this, at least I think so. And the truth is, I can't see the broadside of a barn, so frankly, you don't even need to be sighted. You can just send this off to a braille reader and say, you know, how are we going to do this? It's not a difficult process. It's just a question of sorting things out so that there is some common thread in the pieces. With the choke-in, it's very lucky because we've got white and gold, and we could just build on that forever. Oh, and one more thing I do want to mention. It's something I try to do. This is an interesting little lusterware piece, and this has a couple of chips on the rim. This is going to become a little tidbit tray. I will repair the chips, and this is in fact a Noritake piece. I'll repair the chips. It will become a little tidbit tray that will probably hold jewelry on somebody's dresser, you know, white, gold, cobalt blue lusterware. So what's the big deal about the chips? If it's got a chip in it, I'm not doing it any disservice by carving it up for a tidbit tray. In this case, it's a Noritake piece. It's old. As with one of the giveaways last week, the rose medallion pieces, they were antiques, but they were already damaged. So converting them is no big deal. They had already, I don't want to say lost their value, but they were already damaged. And preserving them in any way once they are damaged is positive. It has to be. So I look around for pieces that have little easily repaired flaws, especially if I'm looking at high quality or older pieces, because that gives me the liberty to do what I please with them. This is a vintage piece of European porcelain. It's not an antique. It's not valuable. It is in no way special and deserving of maintaining its integrity. Nothing like that. I can turn this into whatever I want. I might have some qualms dealing with an antique piece of Noritake though. So, assuming I don't break it even more. So, the little chips just gives me permission to do as I please. And that's another thing you might want to look for. If you are out and you find pieces that have some minor damage, especially since we already know how to fix it, and you can do repairs on them, so much the better. Okay, let's see. Yesterday's video ended the Parrot Tulip lusterware giveaway. Today's ends the Rose Medallion I Will Survive Cup and Saucer giveaway, and tomorrow's will end that pretty little white dish with the soaps giveaway. So what happens now is, for the following week, the Photobomb Kitty is going to sit on my computer, go through the entries. It'll take a while. He doesn't read very quickly. I mean, I love him, but geez, he is not the sharpest crayon in the box. So it'll take him a while to read through all the entries, choose the one he likes, and then next week, I'm going to announce the winners. Remember, we've got 3 giveaways. They're going to go off on 3 separate videos. So good luck to all of you, and I will see you all tomorrow.